Everyone knows Wall Street's uber rich often stash their wealth in tax havens. But guess what? It turns out the working class, the average Joes and Janes, you too can stash cash with two words: offshore accounts. Welcome to the West Indies, awash with Caribbean beauty and, oh yes, home to some of the world's most secretive and affordable shell companies. We know because the I-Team just opened one up. We didn't need a lawyer. We didn't need a plane ticket. We did it from my desk.
Can I talk to somebody about setting up an offshore shell company?
We called about a dozen so-called corporate services firms, from Antigua to Belize to the island of Nevis.
I just wanted to see if I could set up an offshore shell company.
3 of the firms allowed us to record their sales pitch for broadcast.
I am trying to set up a company that my name is completely unattached to. Do you guys do that?
Just listen as the salespeople offer to incorporate me an offshore shell company using their names on the paperwork. That way, if anyone asks, my name won't come up.
Our law allows for us to act on behalf of the client. There's nothing illegal about it.
It's sort of like a game of tax me if you can.
Do you guys provide complete privacy?
Yes, we do.
So what if the tax man asks,
Does Chris have a shell company in Belize? What would you say?
I would say, sir, we are not allowed to give out information on our clients.
NYU law professor Daniel Shaviro is an expert on tax havens. He says some U.S. citizens use shell companies to illegally hide assets from the IRS, but more often the secretive accounts are used legally by big American companies pretending their profits are born overseas.
For big companies, the trick is that they kind of claim all their income arose in tax havens even though they're not actually doing anything there.
The IRS stresses individuals are not allowed to hide or disguise income in tax havens, but corporations like the one we set up, they're different. If offshore firms argue their cash is being earned outside the U.S., they can shield their profit from taxes indefinitely.
Are you basically saying that I can shelter my money from U.S. taxes?
Well, actually, yeah. That's the purpose of an offshore.
It may sound shady, but before you conclude tax havens are just a scheme to avoid paying your fair share, consider this.
Every American who has a bank account, every American who buys products from a company is indirectly benefiting from tax havens.
Economic libertarians like the Cato Institute's Daniel Mitchell say tax havens are actually good for the rich and the middle class, because having zero tax islands just a phone call away puts pressure on Uncle Sam to lower tax rates here.
Competition serves the interest of consumers and taxpayers, and that's why tax havens are a very important liberalizing force in the world economy.